Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the boy Prem back with another Prem show. And as usual, I have my main man, Night Watch. How you doing, Night
Hey,
Watch?
doing good, man. How's it going?
Actually, it's going good. I like the little setup back there. I see that.
Yeah. I tried to move some things around because I was like, man, I was getting tired of the old ones. I said, let me try to get something a little special, especially for Halloween month.
Something like.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, this one's going to be interesting. And you're the right person to be on this. Um, the topic is going to be which horror franchise deserves to be continued or scrapped.
Okay. All right.
So we're gonna get into this, and
All
I'm
right.
gonna keep it 100. So
Right.
um, I think the last couple of times we had live stream, we was talking about the gaps, the 30-year gap, stuff like that.
Yes.
While trying to compile that together, this came in my mind, and I'm like, you know what? Let me go with this one. This is a little bit easier because I just got back home yesterday because I went to New York for my birthday for 2 days.
Oh,
And I'm like, this,
nice.
this,
Ha-
this is
ha-
nice. This is gonna work.
Happy,
Um,
happy late birthday, man.
yeah, man. 50 years old. Trying to get the AARP. I ain't get that card yet. I need all them discounts. I need that. But yeah, I joined the Big 50 crew.
Nice.
Ain't nothing to it, man. There's another
Hey,
day for me.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think this one's gonna be good. I think this one's gonna be a really interesting live stream. You know, honest opinions always wanted on this show. I know you always give it. We're gonna have
Mm-hmm.
fun. We're gonna enjoy it, and we'll keep moving on. I do
All
have
right.
something for us though.
Okay.
I have continue, put on shelf. That means we'll get back to it if you're not sure. You know,
Okay.
trash,
All right.
trash. So with that being said, and you know what? There's maybe 10 that I didn't put up here
Mm-hmm.
due to time restraint, and then there was a couple that I wasn't sure of. That if we got enough time, I'll bring up at the end of the show.
Okay.
So let's get into the first one, and that is Final Destination.
All right. Yeah, man. It's a good series.
Yeah, good, excellent series.
Mhm.
What's your thoughts?
I gotta admit, and it's funny you put that up because that's a franchise that hopefully I'll be diving into soon on my channel. I really enjoy the series, and
Hmm.
the story itself is interesting enough and can be expanded enough that it can stay somewhat fresh.
Okay.
I've seen all five. Yeah, it's five. Seen all five movies.
Hmm.
Um, I think it should continue, but I do think, and I thought I heard that they were working on a newer one. Um, but I do think they should try to add a little something to the mix a little bit. It might be something like a continuing character, which of course they kind of explored that in one and two with
Hmm.
Clear, Ali Lauder.
Okay.
Um, and I think that might actually be a good thing, is that some way have a continuing character. It was cool having Tony Todd in a bunch of them, and they kind of veered away from that a little bit. I think that was a mistake. So if they can get some of those types of elements or some fresh elements into it, I think you should go for another couple, see what happens.
Yeah, and I was watching your video this morning when I got up, and what you said resonated with me when you were talking about Phantasm. When you said it's the only group of people to this day that still come back to make these movies, and I was like, wow, that was
Yeah.
like an aha moment for me because you're right. You're right. I think that's through love. love for the material and just being, committed to the whole thing. So I
Right.
definitely appreciate that.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yo,
Hey.
Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
hey. Good. I'm doing well. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's loud and clear.
Really?
Yeah.
And you
I'm
can
glad
see
you're
me?
up here, man. Yeah. It's a long time coming.
Thank
Right?
you. Appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So
That was pretty
basically,
easy.
yeah. Yeah, it was a last minute ditch, like to see if I could get you up here.
Yeah.
You made it. So what we're
Yeah.
discussing on this live stream is which horror franchise deserves to be continued or scrapped. We have 3 categories that we will lend our verdict to, and that we continue, put on the shelf to discuss it more, or trash. Hopefully, won't be too much in the trash. But
You never know.
yeah, but we will keep it honest as possible. We have a light discussion on it, and right now we are talking about Final Destination. As you see, the date when it came out, March 17, 2000. So
Yeah.
it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is something that we touch on a lot. Where I think with Hollywood, it's like a 20-year recycle when they reintroduce it to another group of moviegoers. So that's a young bracket right there. I think it's good material, it's good source material. You can do a lot with it. So it's a yes for me. What do you think, Night Watch?
Yeah, I think it's like I said, I think it's a good franchise. And it has enough in its mythology to stay fresh and to have new elements added, and it doesn't totally mess it up. You know what I mean? So I think they should continue it. I think they should, just do a couple more and see how they do in the theater.
Okay, I'm coming down to Mr. Dan. What's your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Well, I'm not so familiar with the original series,
Mhm.
but I've seen the first one and at least parts of some of the sequels. The idea is sound enough. You can really expand it anywhere. You
Yeah.
could take it around the world. You could have different groups of characters. I mean, you could do anything with the idea. So I think it's and I think 20 years is a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Release it again. Okay. So I guess that one made the cut, huh? All right.
Mm-hmm. Looks like it.
And maybe they can get Tony Todd to come back.
That's what I was
that'd be a
saying.
good deal. Yeah, I think.
Because I thought maybe when he appeared in that first one, I don't know. I have to go back and look at it again, but it almost seemed like they added him to add like a human antagonist, because Fate is the antagonist. You know what I mean? And it's
Right.
you can't really see it or wrap your hands around it. So I almost thought that was maybe like sort of a last minute thing, that if you're going to do that, then like have more of him.
Yeah,
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I absolutely agree.
That makes sense. I agree with you on that one. So the next one we got on the chopping block is
Cabin Fever.
Cabin Fever.
Ooh.
So I think since I left off with Mr. Dan, we're going to start off with you. What's your thoughts on this? Do you want this to continue, Mr. Dan, or do you?
Yeah, I'd like to see it again. I'd like to see more of that. I enjoyed the first one. I think there was a remake though, right?
I think it. Yes, I believe so. Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, I don't think it was too well received, but I'd like to see it again. I enjoyed the first one. I like the idea of having it sort of in the middle of nowhere and having like, when the local sheriff was trying to kind of contain it to that little. So I mean, I thought that was a lot of fun. I like to see more of that small town flavor.
Mm-hmm.
I think it worked for me because it was like a containment thing where it could be one setting and then trying to keep this disease in. So it could be anywhere, like you said earlier, with Final Destination, but you can sit in this, I guess, somewhere in the city, like a building, and lock it down, or somewhere, just lock it down and just try to contain this disease. But let's go to Night Watch. What's your thoughts on this?
Well, actually, you just said a really cool thing. If they were to continue it, do something like make it like a building, building of people, something, again, adding something fresh to it. Maybe it's in the city and it's a building, and
Mhm.
you have, I don't know, a group of, 4 or 5 people, and you make the characters entertaining so that
Mhm.
you care about them, and we follow them as part of this building with other people, of course, because other people got to die. I think I think that would be an interesting way to continue it. I will say, um, I'm not as high on this franchise as Final Destination, but
Mhm.
if they were to do something interesting, like have it in a building or something like that, I'd watch it. I'd check it out.
Okay. So for you, Mr. Dan, that's a pass or that's a continue?
Continue. I say continue.
Night Watch?
I will say,
Put on the shelf?
personally speaking, I don't have a lot of faith that they would do something fresh enough with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so I guess I could say shelve it because I don't have as much faith. But if they were to release it, and like I said, it was in something cool like a building or something like that, I'd check it out. But if it was again in the woods, that type of thing, like we've
Mm-hmm.
already seen, I'd be like, I don't really need to see it because the original was good enough for me.
All right. Fair enough. So this one comes with controversy due to the director, but let's get into it.
Oh yeah.
I knew as soon as you said that, I knew.
All right, so I'll start it off. Honest, I did not like the first one. I
Really?
did not like the first one. I went to the movies by myself. I watched it, and I watched it again on video. I couldn't get with it. The second one's the third. I enjoyed it. The second one was awesome. I'm not sure what happened, why I got disconnected in the first one,
Hmm.
but I just I did like the creeper. Or that's what they call him, the creeper.
Yep.
I enjoyed his part, maybe because the two teenagers, the brother and sister, they just was way too not connected and just doing too much silly stuff that just took me out the movie. But
Hmm.
Jeepers Creepers 2 was definitely awesome. The other ones was lower budget, but I enjoyed those too. They're supposed to revisit this series and restart it, reboot it, but the stigmatism to it, when I found out what happened with the director, I just like, I would just step away.
Hmm.
So I'm coming down to Mr. Dan. What's your thoughts?
Oh man. I like the first one. I like the first half of the first one. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it really grabbed you, but it just did sustain that. And I don't know if we ever really like determined what the creeper was. You know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of wide open, I think. So, but if it's that kind of wide open, then you could call it something else. You can get away from the stigma completely.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Unless you, I mean, I would imagine they wouldn't want to recreate the design of the creeper.
Right.
Well, I think the stigmatism deals with the director, and I think
Yeah.
when people find out he's not attached to it any way, shape, or form, like he's not producing it or writing the script or anything, then that's enough right there for me.
Right.
But when I did find out, it was like, damn,
Yeah.
it has so much potential. As far as the creeper, they just said in 23 years, it comes back, it regenerates, it takes body parts. It has a little truck, all these gadgets in it, and all that stuff.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
Some cool set pieces, in there. But yeah, I enjoy that part of it. So, Night Watch, what's your thoughts?
Um, well, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with this new one. That there's all the the buzz and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
I as the series is right now, without this new one in the mix, I would say just let it go. end it, because just with all the controversy that
Mhm.
surrounds the director. But like Dan said, which I think is a really good idea, if they try to kind of go sideways with it, call it something new, probably, I don't know, something, the Creeper or something or whatever.
Yeah, the Creeper.
And you got the Creeper, and you got, obviously you could make a lot of things go with it because the mythology is wide open. His origin, himself is wide open. So if they did something like that, I'd be open to it, because I did enjoy the first two.
Hmm.
And I thought that the take on him was pretty interesting, and it did creep me out. No pun intended. It it did, it did creep me out, because it was like, you can't kill this thing. It's basically a waiting game. You got to outlast it, and I think that's what was kind of cool about part two too.
Yeah.
By the
Yeah, I think part 2 really displayed how persistent he was on trying to get the body part.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if they really could bring that aspect to it, like him trying to hold out and just survive and finish him off, that'd be really great, because there's some tension right there,
Right.
Some good tension, especially when he was like hopping, when he lost his arm, just hopping to the guy. I like,
Yes.
Jesus, come on, man. So,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
definitely
And when
interesting right there.
And when they showed that one guy, he waited, all those years. He was just waiting for him, and I was like, man, But it was something that at least I can't recall seeing
It was
before.
fresh.
It was fresh.
Yeah.
So I remember watching that, and like I said, it was a creepy vibe, because it's like, can you defeat this thing? And it didn't look like there was a way to do that. You just had to wait until basically the time was up, and he went dormant again. So I think it was a fresh idea. They just got to get away from the controversy.
Yeah.
All
Hey,
right.
did you guys ever see the Unsolved Mysteries episode that they based that off of?
No.
That's creepy as shit. Because
Okay.
they can go that route, which isn't a supernatural route. But there was actually a couple, not a brother and sister, a couple driving, and they saw someone carrying what looked like a body in a bag and putting it in the trunk. And the husband was like, "Hey, did you just see that?" And then the guy started chasing them.
Wow.
That's where they got the inspiration from. That it was like it was a crazy story, but they can go more of a like a conventional slasher route if they wanted to. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna go to the next one, and I definitely enjoyed this one. Quite sure you guys seen it.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Dan, have you watched this one?
Yeah, I watched. Let's see, there's the Spanish one, right, and then the remake, and then the sequel to the remake in an airport. So I think I've watched all of them. I think I've seen them all.
There's 3 Spanish, because it ends on a ship.
Oh, there's 3 Spanish ones. Okay.
Yeah. And there's 2 American versions.
Okay. I haven't seen all the Spanish ones.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I think, again, it came out in 2007, so it's been a minute, so they can like reintroduce it to more new moviegoers that enjoy horror movies. Night Watch, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I didn't see all the Spanish movies either. So I think I saw one of the one Spanish movie, and then I guess the 2 American movies.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's it's a premise that works. Just get some interesting characters in there, and I'd say keep going with it.
All right, that sounds good.
Yeah, and that's speaking of apartments. That's the Spanish one. I mean, actually, both of them. I mean, I know Lady Shasha talks about this a lot, where they don't have enough haunted apartments. But that's one that was really the apartment setting really worked well.
Yeah. The atmosphere and way it was shot. The tone and the setting was really good, and I think they did an excellent job for Americans to catch that, because sometimes they miss the ball when we translate things like "Let the Right One In." They did good with that one, that Swedish movie. That was really good, the American version. But sometimes they miss the mark.
Oh yeah,
right.
Because like when the power goes out, you're all in it together, right?
Exactly.
And when there's something creepy upstairs, Now you have no choice. You're sort of
Mhm.
participating in the horror.
That's
There it
right.
Yeah.
There it is.
It's
So
true.
this one right here is a classic, and definitely want to start from Mr. Dan. What's your thoughts on this one?
Oh, oh man, I like all of them actually.
Mm-hmm.
I like the first three. I did like the remake. It was different, but I appreciated the remake. Yeah, the first one is one of my great movie viewing experiences because I saw it the way you probably should have back then in a room full of teenagers, on a Friday or Saturday night, where half the people were hiding their eyes and half the people were screaming. It was actually only later I saw the second two, but I really, it's such a great series.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
when we got crowd participation now. Yeah, so for me, this is the go. Sam Raimi, I think we did a spotlight on him last Sunday. Definitely the director. He has stuff coming out. Actually, yeah, he just finished wrapping Doctor Strange in the Month of Madness or something. I think that's the title. Something with madness in it. But yeah, it's a go for me. I just want them to get back to some of the essence of the demons.
Mm-hmm.
That was like a signature in the Evil Dead 1 and 2, even Army of Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Not too much campiness, but a little camping because there was a signature things, trademarks for the Evil Dead, the makeup, some outlandish stuff that they were doing in there. Not taking nothing away from the new one, the remake. They really grounded that, and they grounded it well, and that's hard to do to translate that. So
Yeah.
kudos to them. And there was a lot of blood and guts in that, just like the first
Right.
a lot of blood and guts. But I'm coming to Night Watch. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, definitely a go, and see what they can do with it. From what I understand, the new one that's going to be coming out is separate from the remake, which I don't know. It's kind of. I thought the remake was really good. I was actually surprised it was as bloody and gory as it was.
Yeah.
Um, but I thought it was cool, and it would have been nice to see what they could have done after that. But I guess it's kind of just restarting over, I guess. Um, but yeah, I think it'd be good to kind of get back more to the demon mythology and put a little of the campiness back into it. They're gonna in order for it to be successful. I mean, just like anything, you got to have the characters in it, and obviously Bruce Campbell isn't going to be in it from what I understand. He's pretty much retired from the character of Ash. So we have to have a new character, or
Yeah, I was
character.
about to say, like, he had a good run. I mean, it came out in
Oh yeah.
1993, so he had a hell of a run with this character. I mean,
Oh yeah.
he had the little series that's on Star, which I definitely enjoy. I'm not sure if you guys watched the series.
Yep.
Yeah, let's start all over again. Clean slate for me. So it's a go for me, Mr. Dan.
Mhm.
Yeah, emphasize, like you said, emphasize the demonic part because that series. I mean, they created like Deadites.
Mhm.
Yeah,
They created
Look
like
at
a
the
whole
dead.
new thing. So you got to emphasize that. So I say yes.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So it made it.
It did. It did.
Made it chopping block.
It's a good franchise.
Yeah. So what about this franchise?
Oh yeah. Okay.
So a little FYI for you guys. The lawsuit is settled. It's official. I found out 2 weeks ago that everything is done, and they're gonna move forward with the new Friday the 13th. They came to an agreement. The same thing is going on with Marvel. The same thing is going on with Hasbro with Transformers. I guess it's every 25 years, the sole creator has the right to get the property back. And I was checking out this law and pulling stuff up, and that's what's going on. It's a big loophole. It's a big, like, somebody left the door wide open and they just coming through. You know what I'm saying? Because they usually have everything guarded with lawyers and top of lawyers and top of lawyers. So these little guys who try to get back in get tired out between going to litigation, continuance in court, and money for these lawyers. So it was a big loophole, and they drove a Mack truck through it. And this is what we got. So everything's settled. We're moving forward. I would like to see, for me, a fresh start with Jason, the original, how he became Jason the Killer, his mother in there doing the killing, half of the movie, and the other half him just becoming Jason. I think it's a go for me in one movie though. Like this have that in one setting, one movie. I'm going to Night Watch. What's your thoughts on this?
Hey man, look, it's it's definitely a go. Um, I had found out about the lawsuit thing too, and you know, it's been a 13-year scenario since the reboot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's to me, as far as slasher franchises or horror franchises, it's one of the Trinity. You've got Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, and Friday the 13th. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that it'd be good to see a new Friday the 13th. I'm not sure exactly what I want the story to be, because obviously the reboot kind of melded, the elements of the first four movies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I want to see Jason, and have some type of fresh take on it, and let's go, man, because Michael Myers is tearing it up.
Yeah, I can't wait to see him next week. Mr. Dan, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I say definitely go for it. It's tough. It's tough because you're not going to please everybody. If you don't have the mother, if you cut the mother out, people will be upset.
Mm-hmm.
If Kane isn't Jason, people will be upset. You know what I mean?
But them guys had a hell of a run. This movie came out in 1980.
Yeah, right, exactly. But make a good version of it that's more imaginative than the reboot was. Because the reboot was kind of bland, I thought.
Mm-hmm. It was bland, but
yeah.
All right, so I think it's a go for everybody. Let's move on to the next one, and that is.
Oh, there you go.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Here we go. 1984. This movie was released. It's a go for me. I want a clean slate. I think we need to get back into the dreams. I think not too much campiness because they were doing a lot of cash grabs with the last four, not the last three movies, but the ones in between. Dreamcatcher was cool. It had its moments like in between certain things that happen, pieces, different settings and kills and stuff. But let's get back to the first one, man. It was creepy. It was scary. It was some original kills. It was original way how they did scenarios in these dreams. I mean, it's vast. You can do what you want. It's dreams. You can do all these scenarios. How Freddy, get these people, kills them or whatever the case may be. So,
right.
Let's go down to Mr. Dan. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's even harder than Friday the 13th because I forget his name, and I like him too, but there's one Robert Englund is what most people think. Mm-hmm. So, that's going to be critical. But I mean, I think you could do it, and like you said, emphasize the dreams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then remember, Jason, Freddy, the guys got masks on. Some of the new moviegoers not even familiar with these.
That's true.
To us, we still respect what they done. They're the forefathers of this stuff. At the same time, we're doing something fresh and new. Night Watch, what's your thoughts on this?
Oh man, look,
the sigh.
Well, we went through the whole series, and obviously the remake was the final one in the series, and that was just a lot of things, just bad choices. Jackie Earle Haley was good as Freddy. I think he was good. I think he was intense, and they were getting back to scary Freddy. Mm-hmm. But I think it was such a culture shock, from the last few sequels when Robert started to get too campy. I think if they pulled Jackie a little back a little bit, still get a couple of the puns and quips in, but also, like you said, have more imagination with the dream stuff. That was one thing I thought was really missing from the reboot. It didn't really have any imagination to it. Freddy was just slashing people. It's like, what happened to the dreams, and getting into the surreal, like with Phantasm, when you were talking about Phantasm a little bit earlier. Mm-hmm. There were so many moments in those movies where you don't know if it's real or not. And that was what was great in the best of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. So I think if they do a new one, which I would like to see if it's done right, or at least with some type of competency. You got to get back into the nightmare scenarios. You have to be creative. You have to have someone who's doing it that makes it their own, but also it's not so far removed like in the reboot. And it's almost impossible to do, kind of like what Dan was saying. It's almost impossible to do. I realize that. But again, it's going to happen. They're going to do a new one. And I just think that if they were to take some advice, that would be some big points to me.
I think for me, in order to do Freddy Krueger right, because right now they have this special effect, they need a budget.
Yeah.
They got the special effects now, so they can do what they want. All these special effects, they can do different scenarios, sceneries, drifting in and out. They got it. Just put a budget behind these Nightmare on Elm Street, a decent budget to bring that stuff on screen. I'm gonna come down to Mr. Dan. What's your thoughts on it?
I say try it, but I would say maybe look to some international directors.
Hey.
Because a lot of foreign cultures have some different concepts about dreams and things. You might want to look to some foreign horror and get some ideas from there, and maybe like try a foreign director. Maybe, I don't know, but I would say you could definitely let's try it again.
Okay, so everybody is in agreement. So the next one, and this guy comes out next week.
Going strong.
Yeah. Hey man, this the guy.
Yeah, it is.
So I'll be honest with you. I was gonna do a show, but I was like, nah, I'll do a segment, not a whole show. On directors who shouldn't make horror movies, and that's Rob Zombie. He's number one. What he did with the Halloweens that he made, I don't know what was going on. I did not like it. I did not like it. He does well with 1,000 Corpse and The Devil Reject and those type of slasher type genre type movies. He knocks it out the park, but this should have been in his wheelhouse. This is nothing too much. I know Michael Myers is an entity of evil, so you can't kill him, so you have more stuff to work with. But it was like soda with no suds. It was flat. It was flat. So I'm gonna come down to Mr. Dan. What's your thoughts on it? I do want it to continue, and the last one that was made was awesome. It was definitely a nice, pleasant surprise. I think they did more than good with it. The new one is a continuation where the internet is gonna take off, so I'm looking forward to it. But the key thing is this: the director of that is the comedian guy from that show Down and whatever.
East Down and Bound, yeah.
So Jordan Peele and this guy are comedians, and it is coming in and it is tearing up the horror scene. They're knocking the shit out the park. So that's just my thought. But I'm gonna go to Night Watch. What's your thoughts on that? And it's a yes for me too.
Yeah, it's definitely a yes for me, and I think, well, because David Gordon Green is directing these movies, and Danny McBride, who obviously, as you were saying, known for his comedy, helped to write and work on the screenplay and stuff like that. And I think they respected the material, they respected the mythology. To me, that was the big problem I had with the Rob Zombie movies, is that he took a lot of creative, rolls of the dice that were always kind of in his favor as far as stylizing things, whether it be characters, their personalities, their dialogue, the way they interact with each other. And the more he did that, the more it didn't feel like a Halloween movie.
Yeah.
Again, when you're working with a franchise and you're working with sequels, one of the most difficult aspects is to do something fresh, but also pay respect to the built mythology. You know what I'm saying? And, I didn't mind him in the first one he did, I didn't mind him retelling the story and going deeper into Michael's, background and childhood. It was probably a smart idea, for a sequel. But then as things went on and he would add these little touches, I think it just took me further and further out of that mindset. Just like with Freddy, as Robert did more jokes and more puns, it was taking me further and further out of it. So fortunately for these movies, they are so bound by the mythology as far as a continuation from
Mhm.
Carpenter's original. And I think, well, at least for me, that's why I enjoy them. And I think that's why they're doing so well, is because, you have a sequel that is really feeling like a Halloween movie. They got
Mhm.
the mask right. They've got the good characters in it. They've got good scares. The production is on point. So this was to be this one coming out next week, or this week, I should say, and then one more,
Mhm.
because it's a trilogy. Beyond that, again, if you can have a same scenario where you have a director like David Gordon Green who respects the mythology,
Mhm.
and they can come up with something that's fresh,
Mhm.
hey, why not? I'm all for it. I'll tell you this: I haven't
Okay.
enjoyed Michael Myers as a character like this in quite a long time. So, and I'm a huge Halloween fan, but as far as for the franchise,
Mhm.
this is the most I've enjoyed Michael Myers in years. These new movies.
All right. So, Mr. Dan, what's your thought?
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I feel like the Rob Zombie movies were like a Rob Zombie movie guest starring Michael Myers, a
Yes.
super buff Michael Myers.
Yes.
Yeah,
There's
it was like
definitely
a
cool
video.
parts, you know.
Mhm.
Definitely there was cool parts, but I even like in the last movie, I forget the name of the doctor that escaped from the asylum. He was so invested in the in the mythology of Michael Myers that he was like didn't he like tried to take out that one cop. He wanted to like go discover it for himself. He's kind of like the continuation of Loomis.
Right.
Nobody's getting close to Donald Pleasance, but that was a pretty good idea.
Hmm.
So yeah, I say I'm eager to see what this new one's like. I think it's going to be pretty good, at least as good as the previous one. But I like to see them keep going. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So the next one, and he just got his rights back.
Oh boy.
There we go.
Oh
Clive
Lord.
Barker, he just got his stuff back, and they trying to bring this to HBO Max. So let's see what happens.
Hmm.
Uh, I enjoy Hellraiser. Um, I think the studios didn't appreciate the material that they had, and like, hey, look, let's put it over here, and your guy can do what you want with it. Here's your budget; it's under $500 or maybe $2 million, and just do what you want. And I think when it comes to franchise like Night Watch, that it's perimeters. This perimeter, you have to go forward, but here's the perimeters. Keep going
Hmm.
forward, but don't go too far out. It's Gonzella. It's the same thing. Fight monsters. It's the same with tanks and stuff like that. He beats the monster at the end and he goes home. If you make a Godzilla movie and he does something too far left, then that's not going to work because
Hmm.
we expect certain things. Um, it's fresh material. Hellraiser, Pinhead. How can you go wrong? I mean, right now I just read where they're gonna change Pinhead. It's gonna be a female playing Pinhead. So okay, let's see how that works out. But you
Hmm.
gotta have the delivery, the elegance when he spoke, that command of respect, and that's a lot of people like. That's what I enjoyed when it came to Pinhead. So you
Hmm.
have to have the writer to write this cool shit and somebody to deliver it. You know what I'm saying? And then you get into the gore and all that stuff. And somebody trying to get out the box or shut the box down, whatever the case may be. Um, Mr. Dan, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think especially if Clive Barker's involved with it again, I'd like to see. I definitely like to see it.
Mm-hmm.
An updated Hellraiser now, even like the original one. The special effects with like blue lightning and stuff. We love them because we saw it way
Mm-hmm.
back then, and we have a tolerance for that. But it would be cool to see all that updated, but keep the the creepiness, and like you said, you got to get somebody really good to deliver those pinhead lines. You have to.
When he said, "We'll tear your soul apart," I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that used to creep me out.
Yeah, because we were talking about that the next day. Like everybody,
Yeah.
did you see a commercial for that Hellraiser shit? Like,
Right.
did you see
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
So Night Watch, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, and to continue that thought, I mean, the concept was fresh, and so vast, the mythology, and like you guys said, Doug Bradley, like when he talked, you
Mhm.
listened. You know, when I watched those movies, those first couple, he commanded the screen. So you need an actor. Well, now they have this actress, so we'll see what happens. But the actor or actress has to command the screen. They have to have the dialogue, and the story has to work. I mean, you guys might have seen it, but this was a franchise that has totally frustrated and pissed me off because
They crashed and burned.
yeah, I mean, and the thing of it was, to me, the first two were fantastic to me, you know, especially the original, obviously. And three was all right, but then I had to check out, man. They were doing some weird stuff. It's Pinhead in space, Pinhead at Disney World. It's like, what's going on here? And the stories were just, you know what I mean? So they got to get back to basics. And if Clive Barker can give that creativity and that elegance that he you know, has with so many of his stories and stuff, I think it's a home run, because I mean, the Cenobites, it's like it's so vast, you know.
Yeah.
It's like you can have so much fun with it and be fresh. So
Introduce some
yeah,
more Cenobites, more design,
that's
cool
right.
designs.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a go for everybody. So the next one is a pleasant surprise for me. I enjoy it. It's a guilty pleasure. Yeah, it's a guilty pleasure, guys. I definitely enjoy these. Um, Came out in 1989. I'm not just sure if you guys watched them,
Oh yeah.
but let's go down to Mr. Dan. What's your thoughts on these?
Well, I don't know.
A little curveball for you guys, huh?
I could see if a remake of that came on and I was home, like I might watch it just out of curiosity. I don't know if I get excited about going out to see it. You know what I mean?
I think it would never be movie theater release. It would be definitely something like straight to like a Amazon or Netflix or some type of streaming platform. They real campy. They cool, you know, stuff like I definitely enjoy them. So it's a go for me. Mr. Dan, what about you?
Yeah, I say do it. I mean, I'd watch it if it was fun and campy and gory and the puppets were cool. You know, definitely.
Night Watch.
Yeah, I'd go with it. I mean, you know, I watched the movies and they were campy. They were kind of a product of their time in a sense. So I agree with you. Probably something streaming. And if it is streaming, you know, I think the advantage that it could have is that you could really get into a deeper story. Not that the franchise is super deep, but you know, if you get the right talent as far as the writing, you could, you know, do a little bit of a different angle.
The last one, it was really good. I'm trying to collect
Yeah.
them all. It's funny. I just brought the whole set for Wrong Turn yesterday on Voodoo. They had it for $5. So I just scooped them up. But yeah, so it's a go.
Yeah.
So what about this one?
Yeah, man.
This one was good when it first came out, guys.
Right?
So let's start with Mr. Dan.
I don't know. I mean, it was at the time. It was self-aware. You know, I heard when I finally saw it, people were like, "Oh, it's a parody." Well, it's not. It wasn't a parody, but it was self-aware. It was clever. And then since then, you've had all like the scary movies come out and everything. I don't know. I just think, again, if you're going to make a story like that, you might as well go a different direction and call it something else. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to say no.
All right. I'm gonna go with it. The reason why I'm gonna go with it again, 1996 is 2021. We recycle this for a new group of moviegoers, geared towards about 20 years demographic. Um, New technology now. Back then it was phone, like a house phone. We got all this stuff to reach out to people, so they can really take that technology and reaching out and contacting, texting, and FaceTiming and all types of stuff just to bring us. That's a different twist right there. Get the latest, hottest, whatever these young kids like today, throw them in there. Like how we have for our screen, when the hottest actors that was coming up. Boom, there you go. But the catch is, I think it always come back, and we agree to. It's always to come down to the script and the budget, and somebody who understand that this is your perimeters. Night Watch. What's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, the first one I thought was fantastic, and I had just rewatched it yesterday because I'm going to be talking about it tonight.
Okay.
But a big part of that was Wes Craven, and obviously, rest in peace to the master himself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just going to be interesting. The new one is coming out in January, and it's going to lean into the characters, the iconic characters of the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that movie, will at least be pretty good. Maybe it'll be very good. Beyond that, I don't know. I mean, the story itself, the mythology for the story itself, it's to me it's finite, because
Okay.
it followed the story of Sydney and the tragedies she faced and so forth and so forth. So I don't know what they can do beyond this next one. I'm open to it, but I would
What
say
about a clean slate? Would a clean slate would be good for you?
if they could do it right, sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
if they could do it right. But again, kind of like what Dan was saying, it was a product of his time and being self-aware and so forth at a time when we didn't really see a lot of that. And so that was kind of some of the magic of the movie. Well, that magic is kind of gone now, and especially with each sequel that they've had in this franchise. So, if it's a clean slate, that's fine, but they've got to find a new ingredient for it, to me, to kind of give it that mojo.
It's funny you say that because there's a really good movie I would recommend to you guys. It's called it's on Netflix. It's There's Someone in the House.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it.
Kudos to the director. I think his name is Patrick Son. He did a movie called Creep. I seen.
Okay.
Oh, the Creep movie. Yeah. Okay.
Great movie, but when you get a chance, guys, check it out. It's on Netflix. It's a slasher movie. It's geared towards the teenager demographics because it's a high school setting with kids. But what he did, it was definitely a refresh to see how he approached it. So I get it. I know what you did last summer, and there's a couple more movies that just jumped on the bandwagon. This really brought that whole thing down. So yeah. I get that part too. All right, so put it on the shelf.
For me, yeah. I mean, like I said, if it comes out, I'm gonna check it out because I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the franchise, and so part of it is I wonder, what are they gonna do? What can they do? So I'll check it out. But I just think that the mythology is finite, So I would put it on the shelf.
Gotcha. Mr. Dan, put it on the shelf?
Yeah, put it on the shelf for now.
All right, cool. So here's another one we have here. Another classic.
Yeah, it is.
1960.
That's right.
So what's your thoughts on this one? If they were to revisit this and try to make it a franchise, they're gonna have to go in the direction of a Silence of the Lamb type, really well written drama, like really put together, like make it tight. Of course, there'll be some kills in there, but you gotta make this shit tight. Alfred Hitchcock was a well received. He knew how to do it. He was the king of suspense, and nobody can capture that what he did. But get somebody, maybe James Wan. I think he could pull it off. Have him go a different direction from The Conjuring and see what he do with something like this. I would like to see him do something like this. But let's go down to Mr. Dan. What's your thoughts?
It's a tough one because I mean, you know what the reveal is, all the reveals, and that was such a big part of the first one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you invested all the main character. I mean, that at the time that was so unprecedented. The main protagonist gets killed rather brutally for the time. And my mom told me the story about seeing that in the theater and how shocking that was, you know, back then. And then you transfer your sympathy to Norman, and then you know what happens to Norman. So I don't know if you can recreate that unless you really tweak the story.
Yeah.
And they had a whole series. I didn't see any of the series about Norman Bates or anything, Bates Motel, but
It was good.
That was good.
yeah,
was very
I heard
good.
it was. Yeah.
It was
Did you check it out
excellent.
and watch?
Huh?
Did you watch it? The
Oh yeah.
series?
Oh yeah, the whole thing. It was excellent. Excellent.
Yeah. So definitely they open it up. So they can definitely do some stuff. It don't have to be a remake. But if it's in the same vein or something like that, or like you said, repackage it, different name, and I don't know, do something like that, or just leave it alone. So, what's your thoughts? Leave it alone, leave it on the shelf, continue, Night Watch.
Leave it alone.
Leave it on
Let
the
it
shelf.
go. Let it go, man. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because again, we know, like Dan said, we know the reveal. The original is, I mean, it's a classic. It is a bona fide classic, and that's all I got to say about that. I loved part two. I thought, and credit to part two for really kind of taking a little bit of a different angle. And but the character of Norman Bates, we were on this journey with him. So I think just let it go. I mean, obviously they did the series, and I think that was great. If you do, something like that again down the road, and kind of put a little bit of a spin on it, that's fine, because the series took place before the events of Psycho. You know what I'm saying? So okay, you had some room to work with, and I thought they did a fantastic job. But as far as in the movies, in the theaters, franchise type of stuff, I would say let it go. It's a classic. You're not gonna do it better. We saw what the remake, how that failed. This is for me anyways, this is like a super case in point of a property that should just be left alone.
Mr. Dan?
Yeah, I would say shelve it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. So it's on the shelf. This one right here, I'm about to click on. Definitely stood out, but at the same time, it was recognized. It was its own entity, but at that time, Saw was the big thing at that moment. But this one right here, it aged like wine. I definitely enjoyed it, and that is The Collector. Definitely enjoyed this movie. It was different. It was in the same wheelhouse I saw when it comes to like the traps and the kills and stuff like that. But I definitely enjoyed it. Should they bring this back? Yes. Should they bring it to the movie theaters? No. Maybe streaming. So I will go down to Mr. Dan. What's your thoughts on this one? Have you seen this movie?
Yeah, I've seen it, and there was a sequel, right?
Yes, The Collection.
The Collection. Yeah, actually, I started to watch the sequel, and it was kind of cool because I didn't make the connection until about 15 minutes in. I was like, "Oh no, this is a sequel!" Like I thought it was the sequel to a movie that only I had ever heard of. I had not heard of anyone talk about The Collection.
Right.
I mean, I appreciated it at the time for who was in it. Not a lot of big stars or anything. Yeah, I think I'd like to see more of the Collector. Sure. Yeah.
Night Watch.
Yeah, I think we should continue it because it had some nice things that were different. I enjoyed both movies. They I thought that I had heard that they were either trying to work on or working on a new one, but I can't remember. But yeah, I say go for it. You know,
Okay.
both movies were very enjoyable to me.
All right. So he made it. All right. So this one is funny because it's like full circle. You talked about it on your channel. I happened to watch your live stream this morning, and it made a cut. And that
Yeah, yes.
Phantasm, 1979.
Hmm.
Let's get into it, guys. Great movie. I'll let you take lead on this one, Night Watch.
Oh man, this is tough. This is tough because I really enjoy the franchise. We've got the fifth one, the fifth and final one is the last one we're going to be doing next this Friday coming up. And obviously Angus Scrimm, who played the tall man for 40 years, passed away.
Mhm,
Um, so you're kind of in that Robert Englund, Doug Bradley scenario again.
mhm.
Can someone else be that good in the role, that iconic? It's tough to say.
He's
The
not
story,
wearing a mask. I think that's the difference. He's not wearing a mask. Like them guys had masks on. He's not
true.
mask, and he's
Yeah,
delivering the lines again like Pinhead, and he's
yeah,
sober. When he said
yeah.
"boy," that's a
Yes.
classic line right there.
It
So,
is. It is. And he was such a good actor. He was so talented. I would say, and I love the franchise. I don't want to get long-winded. I would say to let it go. Maybe give it another 20 years, and then if you want to, I guess, remake it or try to do something in that universe and maybe a little bit of a left turn to make it fresh, then that's fine. But as far as for right now, I think they finished up the story in the fifth movie, and I don't see anyone else playing the tall man for right now. So for me, I would say just let it go. It was a great ride, man. It was 40 years. That's a long time. And
mhm,
like we were talking about earlier, Prim, I mean, you had four actors that were in those movies over five films.
mhm,
That's just crazy. And Don Coscarelli, the director, directed four of them and involved with the fifth. That's a lot of commitment. So, some things are just at the right time, the right people, the right chemistry, magic. So I think just let it go for now.
all right, put it on the shelf. Mr. Dan, what's your thoughts?
Yeah. Hard to recreate it. With the I don't know. I mean, you'd have to get a really good tall man. I don't know. I think one way to approach any of these remakes would be, and I know Nightwatch we talk about special effects all the time, how they ruin things with special effects. I even preferred in the first two. I saw the making of where they would find different ways to propel the spears. Like, I mean, they did some really clever stuff to film those spears, and
Hmm.
it's not as effective as when you can see that they're a bunch of CGI spears on the ceiling. So
Right.
if they committed to
The
practical
practical
effects,
effects.
that might be a way to grab you.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's the thing that we speak about a lot on this channel, where they have to have a balance with the practical effects.
Hmm.
The last Thing movie that they had practical
Yeah.
effects, and they came in and just added the CGI, and it kind of took me out.
Mm.
Um, yeah, they have to work on that. They have to find that balance. Sometimes you can come across it in certain movies. Sometimes they just like get lazy and just throw it in there. So I agree. We're gonna move on to the next one, and this one I want Mr. Dan to start off with. So you ready, Dan?
I'm ready. Oh,
Here you go. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, October 4th, 1974.
yeah.
There you go, Dan.
Isn't it funny though that both this and Psycho were inspired by the same guy? You know what I mean? Like there's and other movies as well. So I mean, again, did you want to? You can go a completely different direction and change it around a little bit. But if you're going with a Leatherface again, you get first of all you got to get a really good Leatherface.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't know what else there is to. I thought the remake, the one with R. Lee Ermey, that one was good.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that.
Okay.
I just don't know. I don't know what else there is to do with it, though. To be honest.
Yeah, I think put it on the shelf for you.
Put it on the shelf. Yeah.
Night Watch.
Yeah, I'd say put it on the shelf. I agree. There's, again, there.
Say your piece, Night Watch. Say your piece.
There's nothing else to really do, and this franchise has really gone all over the place with the mythology. You've had these sequels that have all been sequels of the original, and not the movies haven't followed, so it's always all over the place. The family changes and this and that, so they've tried to maneuver around a lot over all of these years since the original. And I think it's time to just put it on the shelf. They've got this new one that's coming out, and again, it's a sequel to the original. It's like, well, you guys have done that like 4 other times. That's nothing
like
new.
the furniture stores where they say we're going out of business, but the signs up there for like a whole year. You come back and we're going out of business.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I just think it's time to put it on the shelf. There's nothing really else to say or do with it. Again, if someone can have a great idea and something that really can add to it, that's fine. But other than that remake, and the sequel to the remake was okay too, but I've just kind of been lost with this franchise for years.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey was in one of them, right? I forgot.
He sure was. Yeah. The fourth one.
This one, I'm gonna have Night Watch start this one off. Are you ready, Night Watch?
Oh yeah. Oh jeez. Come on, man.
Yeah. There you go. 1988, November 9th. This one is one.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Trash on the shelf. Continue.
They got the new series that's coming out, and a lot of people are hyped up about it. So some of the guys in the horror community are following it. I'm not following shit, man. It's like it's really nothing else that you can do. The original was great. I think the original was great. I think it still stands the test of time. The sequel was pretty good. 3 is when it started to lose me, very similar to how Hellraiser, it's almost like some of these franchises is a similar story beat as far as when I would lose interest in the franchise. But there's nothing else to really do.
They don't really respect horror movies. They just start respecting horror movies in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Certain studios, certain executive, but that's what it is. It's like the black sheep of the family,
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Chucky as a character, entertaining, some great moments, like I said, especially in the first movie. But there's nothing else that I just don't see anything else to do with it. We know that he's a killer doll, and that so we already, like with the Norman Bates, we already know the reveal has already been done. So what else could you really bring to it? So I say put it on the shelf, man.
Mr. Dan, put on the shelf or trash?
I guess I'll say put it on the shelf. I didn't see the one where Chucky was the remake where Chucky was an animatronic doll that became self-aware, not possessed by a spirit. So I don't know how good that was.
Yeah,
but I mean, I guess that's a different take, at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can have one Chucky possessed by spirits and another one that's like AI. I don't know.
We're gonna stick with you, Mr. Dan, and we're gonna give you a good one. So you ready?
I'm ready. Oh, well,
Come on, Dan.
I don't know. It's like you said, the first one, yeah, then the second one, good. But it's, you know what's funny? It's almost like halfway through the third one.
Mm-hmm.
This is where things, I don't know. I mean, I don't remember
And this
every
one,
part of every one, but I definitely think they kind of lost some steam there.
They did.
And I didn't see Spiral, so I don't know.
I didn't see that either. Night Watch, did you get a chance to watch it?
Yeah, I saw it, and I will say I'm a fan of the franchise, although I do agree they lost steam. Um, Spiral was pretty good, and it was a different take, and of course you got Chris Rock, who, to me anyways, I thought he did a hell of a job
Mhm.
in a horror movie. And like you said, Prim, we've seen a lot of these comedians show their talents in other genres and other projects. It did kind of show you how you could get a different spin on it, because it was a new mythology that they were kind of connecting to the old movies, but you didn't necessarily need to see the old movies to follow this one. So,
Okay.
I'll just put it like that. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, but I also, like I said, I enjoyed the franchise, and I also enjoyed those types of movies because it's kind of a combination of, horror and like police procedural type of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and mystery. So that's what I like about it. Um, so I'd say, yeah, continue it. I mean, I haven't heard anything about what they're gonna do after Spiral. It it did okay,
Mm-hmm.
as far as profit wise,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know what they're going to do. But that was a passion project from Chris Rock. So, because he was a fan of the franchise. So if you have someone, it's a passion project and they have some creativity and ability, there are possibilities for things to turn out good.
And he has a name that get people in the seats too. Chris Rock
True.
gets
Yeah.
in the seats.
Yeah.
So this one, I'll start off with this one. And here we go. Here we go. 2009 is when it got released, right?
Hmm.
And part two was great. Then after that, studio do what it does best when it comes to horror movies. Care less. Low budget, high return. That's it. With no guidelines. And that's a formula for a lot of these studios where they have good materials and sources like that. This was different. This was unique, but it ran into the ground. So
Yeah.
it's been a while. It's 2009, 2021. It's a minute. Maybe they can revisit it. I don't know if it's worthy of a theatrical release. Maybe something on a streaming platform. But if so, I would go for that. So it's a yes for me to continue. Mr. Dan, what's your thoughts? Hey, speak your truth, Dan.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, it's, it was kind of a product of its time. We've seen so many movies like that. I just watched one. Actually, speaking of Angus Scrimm, I got the Paramount app, and I watched, what was it called? It was something that was adapted from a web series, and it was a found footage deal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And Angus Scrimm was in it for literally about 45 seconds. Okay, so you didn't get anything out of that. But it was just so tired. I've seen it all before. So it's not just, this movie ushered in a lot of clones too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the whole format is a little stale.
Yeah, the screen syndrome. As soon as screen came out, everybody came out. I want to do what you did. I know what you did last summer, all this, and that. And they just like, jumped on the bandwagon and then dragged it down. Yeah. All right. So
put it on the shelf.
All right, put it on the shelf. Mr. Night Watch.
Yeah, man.
Trash it.
Personally speaking, I've enjoyed some of these movies, but I got so frustrated because the story that they were telling, like as you started to get the answers, it seemed like they'd all of a sudden hit the gas and go 100 miles an hour away from what the answers could be. So it frustrated me a lot, especially after I think 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think they should trash it. I think it's done. We know they obviously didn't really continue the storyline of the first couple or
Mhm.
whatever. Or if they did, like I said, I didn't see the last one, but yeah, I think trash it, man. Trash it,
Okay,
and
hey, we got our first track.
yeah.
So, I'm gonna bounce back and continue with Night Watch, and this one is for you. So, you ready?
Mm-hmm. Hey, all right.
Here we go.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, I'm a fan of Insidious, and obviously, James Wan. I'm a fan of his talents. Um, I think they're working on a new one, if I'm not mistaken. I, you know, I was a big fan of the story of the first one, and of course they continued it, and then I think in the third one it kind of went sideways a little bit with the story to bring some new stuff into the mythology, which it's fine.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I'm open to it. I'm open to it. Lin Shaye, who a lot of people call the godmother of horror, I absolutely adore her. If she's involved and they can give her some shine, I'm there. I'll watch it and check it out.
With her two little helpers, the two guys that be helping her out.
Yes, yes. And
Yeah.
Lee Wanell is one of the helpers who, he's done some good stuff himself as a director, and also co-wrote Saw with James Wan. So I'm up for it. I'm up
Okay,
for
okay. All right. So I'm gonna ask Mr. Dan Trasser to continue.
I didn't see the third one, but I like the first two. I think that the concept is sound. There's a lot more you can do with it. So I say continue it.
Okay, it's a continue for me.
it.
This next one, we're gonna stick with Mr. Dan. I hope you've seen it. I just seen the last installment last night on Shutter and enjoyed it. But here we go.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, there's a new one on Shutter now.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
okay. That's right. That's right. No, I haven't seen that yet, but I did enjoy those.
Okay.
I think I enjoyed the ones that other people didn't enjoy as much.
Okay.
Like there were no terrible ones for me. Were there a few segments that were not as good?
Mm-hmm.
You're almost always going to get that
Yeah.
in anthology. Even some of the famous anthologies have that segment that's like, it's
Yeah.
okay,
Right.
But I say, sure, continue it.
Me too. I definitely like what I watched last night. This one came out 2012, so it's hanging in there. And again, it's on a streaming platform, so it fits
Yeah.
well on that.
Yeah.
Night Watch, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I'm all for it. Keep going with it. It's again, the mythology, you could do anything with it. Because it's an anthology, and I've enjoyed the movies. I haven't seen the new one yet, but I'm gonna be checking it out. So probably almost out of all these movies we've talked about, this is the one I'm the most like, yes, go do it. Because the mythology is basically infinite.
Okay. So we're gonna stick with you. And I guess we're continuing an anthology, so let's keep it going. Let's keep it going.
Creep show, yeah, man. The first one is a master to me, is a classic, a masterpiece. The second one I really enjoyed. I have not seen the third one, and I probably will never, ever, ever, ever watch it. My man Eric watched it and talked about it on one of my streams, and Jesus, that just sounds horrendous. If they could do it right,
Mhm.
in the vein of one and two, absolutely do it, because again, you can do anything. The mythology is wide open. Get a couple of cool directors,
Mhm.
and obviously some neat creepy stories, and you're all set. So just don't ever do anything as crappy as Creepshow 3. That's the rule.
And you know what? The shows are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are good. I've been watching them.
Mhm.
So I have 10 more. I don't want to get too long winded. I know you have stuff you have to set up for yourself, Night Watch. Mr. Dan, I don't want to hold you up too much because we went over the time. I usually try to do like 45 minutes or an hour, but it got good. So we got 1:15. I would save the next 10 for next Sunday. Of course, Mr. Dan, you're always welcome to join the panel. I enjoy you being up here as always.
Yeah.
No, thank you. No, I appreciate it. Thank both of you. Both of you were very supportive and instrumental in me starting my channel.
Okay.
Oh,
So I appreciate it. I do.
We'll come over there. Just invite us.
Yeah, I got
man.
lots of ideas. I haven't had the most time lately, but I'm lots of ideas. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know, and I know you had said, I think you had said to me in one of the comments about, time constraints and stuff, and I was like, yeah, man, I gotta get Dan on, man, because like I said to you in your videos that you've done, you know what you're talking about. So definitely, when you get the time, people are ready to have you, do some collaborating.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yep.
Join the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna save these 10 for next Sunday, and I add some more segments to it, and
Cool.
we can take it from there. Night Watch again. Appreciate you coming through. Dan, you're more than welcome to come and join us next Sunday, and I'm gonna let you guys go because I think I held you too long. So
it was fun, man.
yeah, it was definitely something different. So I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you Sunday.
All right.
Thank you. Appreciate
you
it,
guys later. All right. Bye-bye.
Later.